And I wrote a first draft, and I'm sure you've heard about first drafts and second drafts. Now, when I wrote the first draft, what I did was I didn't worry about my spelling because I'm a terrible speller. Even as much as I read, I still spell badly. I'm not terrible. I'm getting better. But I still spell opportunity wrong for some reason. And there's certain words I sort of consistently spell wrong. So I wrote the first draft. I didn't worry about my spelling. I didn't worry about my punctuation. What I did is I focused on the story. When I was able to, I actually finally, what I did is I went away. I wrote on and off for a while, and I finally went away and I rented a little cabin in the woods, a little A-frame down in Pennsylvania, and I did nothing but write for a week. And I wrote the majority of the story, the first draft, at that time. And it was great if I could just sort of settle back and watch the story unfold and just write. And I didn't worry about my punctuation. I worried about getting what I was seeing in my mind's eye on paper so that you could see it too. And that's what's cool about reading and writing. It's almost like a magic trick. You know, here I was 4 years ago or 3 years ago sitting in a cabin in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, telling this story, and here you are today, how many years later, in a completely different place, but we're going to see the same thing. That's what I think is really neat about writing. It's like a little magic trick. So I'm going to have, when you guys come up, this first draft is going to be down there for you to see. And you'll see that what I did is after I got it done and I came home, and my husband read it and loved it, I went through and every day worked a little bit on each page. And, you know, if there was an obvious misspelling or an obvious typo or an obvious comma that shouldn't be there, I marked it. But I also made notes on how the story could be a little bit different. And I took that first draft and made a lot of copies of it too, and I sent it out to people I trusted, like my mother who reads a lot, my sister, the librarian at Prattsburg Central School. You know, we put the book out there to some trusted friends who read it and circled some typos and misspellings and also made some suggestions. And then I eventually went back, and for 4 days I did nothing but write again, and I did what's called a rewrite. I went back and changed the story a little bit in some places, and oh boy, it actually got a lot better on the rewrite. Some big things changed, and actually on the rewrite I came up with another power for the girl to have, which is kind of cool. And I was really glad that I did that rewrite. I kind of didn't want to because I felt like, well, I already wrote the story. Why do I have to go back and rethink the whole thing? But I was glad I did. And you'll also see down here a couple other binders of other people, what they wrote when they looked at the book and did some editing for me.